Welcome, curious minds, to The Deep Dive, your shortcut to getting truly well-informed without feeling totally overwhelmed.
That's the goal.
Today, we're digging into a whole stack of sources, everything from, quantum leaps in science to the really intricate dance of global politics.
Got some surprising nuggets for you.
Definitely.
And our mission, as always, is simple. Cut through the noise. We synthesize, connect the dots, and really highlight not just what's happening, but crucially, why it matters to you.
We've got an incredible lineup today. Breakthroughs that really challenge how we see time itself.
Mind-bending stuff.
Right. Then the complex situations in Ukraine and the Middle East, shifting global economies, even some unexpected twists in sports and health.
A bit of everything.
We'll give you multiple perspectives, always impartially,
Yeah.
just aiming for the clearest picture. So let's dive in.
Yeah, what's really striking is how interconnected it all is, isn't it? A change here ripples way over there.
Absolutely. Science, markets, our daily lives.
Yeah.
It's all linked. And that's what we want to unravel. Let's kick off with global flashpoints and political ripples. A, the Ukraine conflict.
Yeah.
A diplomatic tightrope. So Ukraine first. The diplomatic scene there seems just as, volatile as the battlefield. What's the latest on talks?
Well, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he recently said Kyiv is actively undermining peace efforts.
How so?
By rejecting the Istanbul negotiation format. Moscow apparently still sees that as viable. Lavrov claims, according to reports from RT, that earlier drafts back in 2022 showed real potential for a settlement.
What?
But, he says, they were derailed by pressure from Western powers, specifically points fingers at the UK and the United States.
And Russia's conditions remain the same?
Pretty much. Military withdrawal from Russian-claimed areas, or Ukraine halting conscription and stopping Western arms imports. That's the line.
Okay, a clear stance from Moscow. Meanwhile, on Ukraine's side, President Zelensky made a pretty significant move, didn't he? Withdrawing from the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention.
Yeah, the Ottawa Treaty. Ukraine ratified it back in 2005, banning landmine use and stockpiling.
And the justification.
Zelensky framed it as achieving parity with Russia, since Russia, along with the U.S. and China, never signed the treaty in the first place.
But that's controversial.
Hugely. Human Rights Watch immediately condemned it. They're warning about increased risks to civilians, obviously. It's a tactical decision with serious humanitarian question marks.
Absolutely. And then you have former U.S. President Trump weighing in.
Right. His comments always make waves. Politico reported, citing a White House official, that Trump believes Russia winning is, quote, inevitable.
Based on?
Superior economy and military, apparently. He's also threatened these huge secondary tariffs, up to 100%, on countries doing business with Russia if peace steps aren't taken within 50 days.
Wow. But he also authorized more arms for Ukraine.
He did, yes.
Okay.
But, and this is the twist, he specified that European NATO members, that's the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, would have to finance them.
And Moscow's reaction?
Rejected the ultimatum flat out.
This whole you pay for it thing seems to be causing some real confusion, especially with military aid, like the Patriots.
Yeah, Major General Vadim Skibitsky, Ukraine's deputy head of military intelligence, sounded genuinely puzzled. Trump announced Ukraine would get 17 Patriots from NATO countries, specifically Germany.
But what does 17 Patriots even mean? Systems or launchers?
Exactly. It's totally unclear. A full battery includes launchers, radar, control systems, much more than just a launcher. Ukraine only has 6 systems now. So 17 batteries versus 17 launchers, a massive difference.
That kind of ambiguity can't be helpful for planning.
Not at all. And this whole who pays debate isn't just a U.S. thing. Kaja Kallas, the European Union's foreign policy chief, she pushed back directly on Trump's idea.
What did she say?
Basically, the EU wants fair burden sharing. If the U.S. isn't putting money in, can they really claim the support as their own? That's the implication. And then Maria Zakharova from the Russian Foreign Ministry went even further, criticizing the EU for, as she put it, funding the death of Ukraine with these arms shipments.
So the art of the deal for peace involves a lot of you pay, heaps of confusion, and plenty of international blame shifting.
Yeah, it really highlights the transactional nature of things right now. It makes you wonder about the real goals beyond just ending the fighting.
Definitely.
And speaking of motivations, there's this other really strange, unsettling story.
Oh.
A U.S.-born guy, Daniel Martindale, just got Russian citizenship. He told RT in an interview that he was secretly feeding battlefield intelligence to Russia, well, embedded with Ukrainian troops.
Seriously, why?
He claimed his motivation came from seeing Ukrainian shelling in residential parts of Donbas, that's a region in eastern Ukraine. True or not, it shows the incredibly complex personal angles in this conflict. B. Middle East tensions, escalation, and aid concerns.
Okay, from the complexities of Ukraine, let's shift focus. The Middle East, always a critical area, always tense.
Indeed. Recent Israeli airstrikes hit eastern Lebanon, the Bekaa Valley specifically. Reports say 12 people killed, and this was despite a ceasefire agreement being in place.
And elsewhere.
Israel also hit Syrian government troops inside Syria. The stated reason was protecting the Druze community, a religious minority there. So even with ceasefires, the actions continue. Volatility is high.
Meanwhile, the situation in Gaza sounds absolutely desperate.
It really does. UNRWA, that's the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees, they've raised a serious alarm. They're reporting 1 in 10 children in Gaza are malnourished.
1 in 10, that's stark. Severe food insecurity.
It is, and there was a critical piece from RT recently questioning the role of some so-called humanitarian efforts in Gaza.
Questioning how?
Alleging there are actually mechanisms of control, mentioning things like kill zones at food distribution points and a proposed humanitarian city that they controversially compared to, concentration camps, drawing parallels to the Nakba and even Nazi atrocities.
It's a very strong claim. Raises tough questions about aid in conflict zones.
Absolutely. It forces a look at intent versus impact.
And amidst all this, there was an incident involving an American citizen.
Yes, the U.S. has urged Israel to investigate what they called the terrorist killing of an American by suspected Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank. Underscores the danger for civilians.
It really does.
But you also see resilience. Like in Bedouin villages inside Israel, they lack government permits, but communities there have built their own homemade bomb shelters. Just trying to stay safe.
A stark picture of the lived reality.
Exactly. A, breakthroughs in science, redefining possibilities.
Okay, let's shift gears completely now. From human conflict to, breakthroughs that could rewrite our understanding of the world. Science time.
And first up, something that really does sound like science fiction. Quantum batteries.
Quantum batteries. Tell me more.
For the first time ever, apparently, a revolutionary quantum battery actually outperformed a classical one. It's still experimental, of course.
How does it work?
Theoretically. It stores energy as photons. The potential's huge. Think much faster charging, maybe even instant and holding way more energy than our current batteries, could totally change energy storage.
Okay, wow. Now prepare yourself for this next one. It's a real mind bender.
Uh-oh. Hit me.
Scientists have found what they're calling a third state of life.
A third state. Between life and death.
Kind of. It challenges that whole binary. We're talking about cells, normally considered dead, arranging themselves into complex patterns. Patterns that mimic conscious organisms.
Whoa. So redefining life itself.
Pretty much. It forces us to ask, what does it mean to be alive? Really fundamental stuff.
And sticking with redefining human potential. Echolocation.
Yeah, like bats use. Researchers are seriously exploring if humans can develop it. Sort of a sixth sense.
How would that work?
Emitting sounds, interpreting the echoes, basically seeing with sound waves, expanding perception beyond sight. And apparently, some blind individuals already demonstrate this ability. The brain's adaptability is incredible.
It really is.
So between quantum batteries, this third state of life, humans becoming real-life daredevils.
I'm starting to think normal is just, a setting on the washing machine.
Huh. It does feel like reality's rulebook is being rewritten. Totally. These aren't just lab curiosities. They point to a future where our basic understanding of everything is shifting fast.
And perhaps the most profound of all, time reflections.
Time reflections. Explain.
Scientists have recently confirmed they exist. It's like seeing your reflection, but instead of light bouncing back, time itself reflects events back.
Okay, my brain hurts. What does that even mean?
It was purely theoretical until now, but it could have massive consequences for fundamental physics, maybe even causality, like discovering a hidden layer within time. AI and the digital frontier, the double-edged sword.
Okay, from the deeply theoretical back to the rapidly evolving present. Artificial intelligence, AI, and digital security. Always a double-edged sword, right? Promise and peril.
Absolutely. And the innovation pace is frantic. Mira Murati, formerly OpenAI's chief technology officer, her new AI venture, Thinking Machines Lab, just got valued at $12 billion.
$12 billion in its seed round.
Yep. Attracting big-name advisors, too. Shows massive investor confidence. The AI race is definitely heating up, not cooling down.
But this speed causes disruption, right? Especially for industries like news.
For sure. Look at Google Discover. They're adding AI-generated summaries to news feeds now.
How does that work?
It cites multiple publishers, apparently, but comes with a warning that the AI can make mistakes. Publishers are worried, though, really concerned about losing even more direct traffic.
Yeah, I can see why. Shifts how people get info.
And with more AI comes more need for cybersecurity. Meta, Facebook and Instagram, they just fixed a critical bug.
What kind of bug?
It could have leaked users' AI prompts and the content generated from them. Highlights how crucial robust security is as AI gets woven into everything we do online.
Scary stuff.
Yeah.
And criminals are adapting too, aren't they?
Unfortunately, yes. There was a case involving a U.S. Army soldier who pleaded guilty to hacking telecom companies for extortion.
Using stolen data.
Exactly, for both private and public extortion attempts. Shows how digital threats are constantly evolving.
Okay, switching gears slightly within tech.space internet.
Right. Amazon's Kuiper satellite project their plan for global broadband from low Earth orbit. It's actually getting support from a rival, SpaceX.
Really? Competitors helping each other.
Yeah, it underscores that weird mix of competition and sometimes mutual benefit in these huge, complex tech endeavors. Advancing global connectivity seems to be the shared goal there.
And finally, connecting AI straight to global markets.
Yeah.
China and NVIDIA.
Yes. NVIDIA's CEO was apparently at a Beijing expo praising China's AI as a catalyst for progress. He talked up open source AI for revolutionizing supply chains.
NVIDIA selling chips to China again.
They are.
Yeah.
They're H20 chips. Export restrictions were lifted and they resumed sales. That move alone apparently gave tech stocks a boost globally. Shows the huge economic weight of AI and its geopolitics.
So putting it all together, science, AI, our understanding of reality, our daily lives, the economy, it's all being reshaped at incredible speed.
It really is. From philosophy to finances, these breakthroughs touch absolutely everything.
Speaking of finances, let's dive into those global economic currents next. A. Global economy, trade wars, inflation, and market signals. Okay, let's talk money. Global economic currents shaping markets, policies, seeing some big moves on the trade front.
Definitely. President Trump announced a 19% tariff on goods coming in from Indonesia.
Aimed at protecting U.S. industries, presumably.
That's the stated goal. And the response from Indonesia, which is that large island nation in Southeast Asia, was pretty swift.
What did they do?
They agreed to buy a massive amount of U.S. stuff. We're talking $15 billion in U.S. energy, $4.5 billion in agricultural goods, and 50 Boeing jets, including lots of 777s.
Wow, so a direct trade-off. Tariffs met with huge purchase agreements.
Exactly, a very transactional approach.
But these tariffs, they don't just affect the U.S. and Indonesia, right? There are ripple effects.
For sure. Japan's Kawasaki Kisen, a major shipping line, their CEO said they're considering rerouting more ships away from the U.S. because of these kinds of tariffs. Shows how protectionism can disrupt global logistics.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what about energy markets, oil prices?
The International Energy Agency, the IEA, they just put out a new forecast, predicting an oil glut.
Meaning too much supply.
Essentially, yeah. They think supply will grow 3 times faster than demand for the rest of the year. That could really push global oil prices down. Good for consumers, maybe, but impacts energy-producing nations.
Interesting. Now, closer to home for some listeners, the UK economy.
Facing challenges there. Inflation jumped unexpectedly to 3.6%. That's its highest rate in about a year and a half.
What's driving that?
Mostly faster rises in food and clothing prices. Fuel costs only dropped slightly, so still pressure on household budgets.
Got it. And other sectors feeling the pinch.
The advertising industry, for one. A WPP, which is the world's second biggest ad agency, they've cut their forecast for 2025, expecting revenues to drop 3-5% compared to this year.
Why? Less client spending.
That and fewer new contracts coming in. And at the same time, in the U.S., the warehousing sector, seeing a big jump in empty spaces, levels not seen since 2014.
Maybe the e-commerce boom cooling off a bit.
Yeah.
Shifting supply chains.
Could be signals of both, yeah.
And finally, that classic revolving door between politics and big business.
Yes. Former British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he's taken a job as a senior advisor at Goldman Sachs.
Doing what?
Providing guidance on economic and geopolitical matters. It's a pretty common path. Shows how valuable that top-level political insight is perceived to be in finance. B. U.S. politics. Immigration, accountability, and power play.
Okay, let's swing back to the U.S. Domestic politics always buzzing, especially around immigration policy right now.
Buzzing is one word for it. The Trump administration is proposing a massive amount for immigration enforcement. $170 billion.
How much is that in context?
It's huge. Roughly 2/3 of all federal law enforcement spending. Reports are calling it a push towards a prison state.
Including building new facilities.
Yes, large-scale detention centers described as mega prisons, especially for undocumented immigrants. And there are other moves, too.
Like what?
Reports say 17 immigration court judges across 10 states have been dismissed. And the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has started sending some migrants to Eswatini.
Eswatini. Where is that?
It's a small kingdom in southern Africa. It's part of a new third country deportation process. And apparently, this has included individuals convicted of violent crimes being sent there.
These are really significant changes to immigration policy and enforcement.
Absolutely. Game-changing stuff.
Meanwhile, the Jeffrey Epstein files controversy. That's still rumbling on, isn't it?
It is. House Republicans, the GOP, blocked a second Democratic attempt to release the files. But interestingly, House Speaker Mike Johnson has now publicly called for the Justice Department to release any credible information.
That seems like a shift, different from Trump's earlier stance.
It does. And Trump himself has also recently called for credible info to be released, saying, quote, only really bad people want to keep stoking theories about Epstein. Suggests the political winds might be shifting on this.
And amidst all these policy shifts and controversies, what's happening in Washington's lobbying world?
Apparently, it's boom time for Republican lobbyists under Trump's second term. They're confirming big gains.
The boom.
Sources point to the president's very transactional style of governing. It creates opportunities, lucrative ones, for lobbyists who have close ties to the administration.
Raises those perennial questions about money, influence, and accountability in politics.
Definitely.
So whether it's building prisons or navigating sensitive files, seems Washington's always good for business. Well, for some insiders anyway.
It certainly highlights that intersection of power, policy, and profit.
Indeed. Okay, on that note, let's pivot.
Yeah.
Public health, the environment, how global trends are hitting close to home. Health and environment, local impacts, global trends. Right. Let's look at health and environment, things that affect us all directly. First, something concerning about rice.
Yeah. A recent investigation into red products sold in the U.S. found some worrying results. More than 1 in 4 products tested had arsenic levels above the limit set by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, for infant cereals.
Arsenic. That sounds serious.
It is, especially concerning for brain development in babies. It definitely flags a significant food safety issue.
Wow, okay. Switching to weather and environment. Some extreme events recently.
Very extreme. New York City and New Jersey got hammered by rare flash floods from thunderstorms. NYC actually had its second wettest hour ever recorded.
And the infrastructure, the subway.
Still flooding badly despite billions spent on upgrades, really shows the vulnerability of older city infrastructure to this kind of extreme weather. Highlights the need for major long-term sewer system overhauls.
And it's not just the U.S. facing weather issues.
No. In the UK, Southern Water put a hosepipe ban in place for 1 million people in Hampshire and the Isle of Wight because of water restrictions. These events really underscore those climate change challenges and infrastructure worries.
And volcanic activity, too.
Yes, in Iceland. The Sundnúkur volcano, near the capital Reykjavik, erupted again. It's the 12th time in just 4 years.
12th time. Any impact?
Yeah, they had to evacuate tourists from popular spots like the Blue Lagoon. Just a powerful reminder of those dynamic geological forces always at work. Bee culture in everyday life, from sports dramas to data nightmares.
Okay, let's wrap up with some snapshots from culture, sports, and everyday life, including the critical issue of data security. But first, a TV shakeup.
Yeah, in the UK, John Torode, the host of MasterChef, was sacked by the BBC.
Why?
Allegations of using racist language were upheld. It really signals a zero-tolerance approach in the media sector now, reflecting those shifting cultural standards.
Got it. Now, data breaches. Seems like they're constantly in the news, affecting huge numbers of people.
They really are. The UK Ministry of Defence, the MOD, confirmed a major breach back in February 2022. Details of nearly 19,000 people who wanted to leave Afghanistan were mistakenly leaked.
19,000. What happened to them?
It led to this secret relocation scheme, Operation Rubific, to get thousands of them resettled in the UK. But the defense secretary admitted he's unable to say if anyone was actually killed because of the breach.
And it only came out publicly much later.
Yeah, in 2023 when the data reappeared on Facebook. And separately, a completely different incident, the CEO of the co-op.
The big UK cooperative.
That's the one. confirmed all 6.5 million of its members had their data stolen in a recent cyber attack.
6.5 million.
These stories just hammer home the pervasive threat of cybercrime and the devastating potential consequences of data insecurity for individuals and even national security.
Truly frightening. Okay, on a lighter note, perhaps. Sports news.
A bit of football. Or soccer, depending where you are. Marty Cifuentes is officially the new manager for Leicester City.
And in American football.
Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman Trey Smith reportedly finalizing a massive contract, 4 years, $94 million, with $70 million guaranteed. Makes him the highest paid guard in NFL history. That's the National Football League. Big money in sports.
Definitely. And finally, cricket. A historic low.
Yeah, a really tough one for the West Indies men's test team. They collapsed against Australia, all out for just 27 runs.
27. That's unbelievable.
Lowest score ever in West Indies test history, and the second lowest globally. It sparked crisis talks. A panel of Caribbean cricket legends is being put together to figure out a way forward. Shows even top teams hit rough patches.
What a journey through the headlines today. Wow. From war and peace to mind-bending science, the digital world's impact.
It really does show how interconnected everything is, doesn't it? Geopolitics, hitting markets, tech shaping daily life. It all ripples.
For sure. And like we saw, even small details, a comment, a system bug, they can have huge consequences down the line.
And our goal is always to give you those aha moments, not just facts, but understanding that complex web of cause and effect. Critical thinking is just so vital with all this information swirling around.
Absolutely. So as you think about everything we've covered, here's a final thought to chew on. With AI getting so advanced, how might the very idea of truth change? When so much information can be generated, or maybe manipulated by algorithms.
That's a big one.
What does that mean for how you consume information, how you trust it? How do we even prepare for a future where figuring out what's real becomes, well, an even bigger challenge than it already is?
Deep thoughts to end on.
Hopefully plenty to mull over, maybe inspired you to dig into some of these topics more yourself. Until next time, stay curious and keep digging deeper.